Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today we're looking at something that sounds literally like science fiction, but I promise you it's entirely real. We're talking about the ultimate human memory. I want you to imagine what seems like an impossible concept. Picture having a flawless, lifelong recall of every single day you've ever lived. You wake up and your brain has faithfully recorded every sight, every sound, and every feeling forever. Well, for a tiny group of people out there, this isn't just a fantasy. It's their everyday reality.
So let me ask you this. What do you remember about your second birthday? Seriously, try to think about it. If you're anything like me, the answer is absolutely nothing. Right. Maybe you have a blurry photograph stashed somewhere or a funny story your parents have told you over the years, but your actual lived reality of those early years, it's entirely gone. But today, we're exploring exceptional brains, where early childhood just isn't a blur at all. For these individuals, it's a sharp, intensely present reality.
Just consider the early milestones of Rebecca Sharrock, a woman from Brisbane, Australia. Her earliest date in memory, get this, 12 days old. She distinctly remembers her parents placing her in the driver's seat of a car for a photo. She recalls staring up at the seat cover and the steering wheel, feeling this intense curiosity as a newborn, but obviously lacking the motor skills to actually get up and explore. By 18 months old, she remembers experiencing lucid dreaming, crying for her mom because she literally believed she was leaving home every night. And exactly around her second birthday, she vividly remembers ignoring her newborn sister, Jessica, because she was vastly more interested in playing with plastic toy trains that had just been on her birthday cake. We're talking about rapid, flawless, lifelong recall, literally starting from the crib. 80. Out of the more than 8 billion people walking the earth right now, researchers know of only about 80 individuals globally who possess this astonishing ability. Let that sink in. It is an incredibly small, incredibly exclusive club of human minds. So, what exactly is this? What they have is called Highly Superior Autobiographical Memory, or HSAM for short. And to be clear, this isn't a parlor trick. It's not some memory palace technique you can just practice and learn off the internet. It was first officially diagnosed in 2006 by researchers at the University of California, Irvine, and it's a very real, very rare neurological condition. It essentially turns the brain into a continuous, unerring recorder, leaving a person completely unable to forget any day of their life. They're constantly reliving personal past events in clear-cut emotional detail. Section 1. The Superpower, a Flawless Mental Calendar. Let's see how this actually works. Take 18-year-old Emily Nash, a Canadian student and one of the youngest people ever identified with HSAM. She explains it perfectly, saying, "My brain is almost organized like a calendar, and each date specifically resembles a movie where I can replay, rewind, fast forward." If you give Emily a random pop culture event, she effortlessly accesses that mental calendar. Ask her when the O.J. Simpson acquittal was, and she instantly knows. October 3, 1995. Ask her about Saturday Night Live hosts from a random weekend years ago, and her brain instantly fast-forwards to the exact date, pulling it up just like a streaming service.
And for some, this ability extends entirely into literature. Rebecca Sharrock has memorized the entire Harry Potter series, the whole shebang. But not by painstakingly studying it, she just doesn't forget reading it. You can pick up the Sorcerer's Stone, open it to a totally random page, and read, "There are all kinds of courage," and she will instantly retort without missing a single beat. It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to our enemies. It's just total instant recall.
This brings us to Section 2, the emotional time machine, the curse of memory. So the crucial point is this. HSIM is a profound paradox. On one hand, you have this incredible blessing. You get to flawlessly relive your happiest moments, the comforting scent of a favorite childhood memory, or the vivid, bright joys of a holiday decades ago. But on the flip side is an agonizing curse. It's an involuntary emotional time machine, because when you cannot forget, you are perpetually reliving trauma, grief, and anxiety as if it happened just seconds ago. You can't just let things go simply because your brain literally won't let you. And this condition brings with it a visceral sensory recall. Imagine being a rational adult, but suddenly being hijacked by the exact, raw emotional response of your one-year-old self. For example, Rebecca remembers her first birthday, not just the events, but the intense, overwhelming itchiness of a satin dress she was put in, and the absolute, genuine terror she felt looking at the face of a Minnie Mouse plush toy she was given. When these memories randomly flash back today, the sensory and emotional overload is total. It can entirely ruin her day. Which leads us to Section 3, inside the HSAM brain, structural differences. Let's look at the actual neuroscience here.
When we look at brain scans of people with HSAM, they reveal some absolutely fascinating structural anomalies. For one, there's an enlarged temporal lobe, which heavily aids in intense memory processing. There's also an enlarged caudate nucleus. Now, this area helps in learning, but it's heavily linked to obsessive-compulsive disorder. It's actually incredibly common for individuals with this relentless mental filing system to also have conditions like autism and OCD. In fact, Rebecca Sharrock has both, which really exacerbates that sense of chaos when her massive memory files involuntarily flash into her mind. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the role of sleep. Dr. Carmen Westerberg, who conducts sleep studies on Emily Nash down in Texas, notes, "We don't think she's taking in more information. It's just that she's not forgetting it, because while she's asleep, her brain is storing it away more efficiently." This is totally mind-blowing. People with HSAM aren't absorbing more data during the day than you or I. Their brains simply organize and file that daily data flawlessly overnight instead of discarding it. Section 4, Keys to Curing Dementia, the Global Impact. We are essentially looking at absolute opposite ends of the human memory spectrum. On the left, you have the HSAM brain, whose trajectory is a complete inability to forget any day. And on the right, you have the tragic trajectory of the Alzheimer's and dementia brain, which loses both distant and short-term recollections. The science goal here is profound. By studying the brains of people who cannot forget, medical researchers are hoping to unlock the deep secrets of memory storage and then apply those exact discoveries to find a cure for those who cannot remember. And getting there requires an inspiring level of dedication. Both Emily and Rebecca endure grueling sleep studies, endless memory tests, and hours inside brain scanners. Emily is actually heading to university specifically to study science and memory, driven by watching her own grandparents suffer from dementia. They are actively volunteering to turn their massive and sometimes agonizing personal burden into a global cure for others. It's just amazing. Which leaves us with a final provocative question for you. If there is a cure for forgetting, would you want to take it? Rebecca Sharrock has said she would take a cure in a heartbeat to erase her bad memories, but she'd never want to lose the good ones. It really forces us to ask ourselves, is the everyday ability to forget actually a weakness of the human brain? Or is it a vital psychological shield that allows us to forgive, heal, and move forward? It's definitely something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.